I guarantee you that if we really wanted to, Mamdani would not be able to stay in the United States of America through a process called denaturalization. I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't know. When we take in an immigrant, it starts off with a visa. We have a program where there are non-immigrant visas and immigrant visas, but the process is pretty much almost the same. So what winds up happening is that if you live around the world and you want to come to the United States, you start off with an application process and you go through the visa process. Now, here's what you probably don't know. Last year alone, in fiscal year 2024, do you know how many visa applications that we had to process and that we wound up giving out? Almost 12 million. We only have a few thousand people processing these. So the normal person who's working for immigration is going to see anywhere between 80 to 100 applicants a day. You can't process that. I mean, my daughter just interviewed a photographer for her wedding. She took a week to go through all the different people who were trying to get her business and then looking through and really doing due diligence on who's going to be the best price, who's going to give us the best job. She's putting more time into getting a photographer than we are taking in people and giving them entry to our country. So think about that for a second. We have both immigrant and non-immigrant visas. The immigrant visa is somebody who's going to try to come here and stay here and become a citizen. The non-immigrant visa, and again, this is coming in by the millions, these people are wound up getting for school, for work, for travel, whatever it may be. They're coming and they're supposed to come and then go home. The number one way of fraud in immigration is through the visa process. You know, the border people that you see coming over, not anymore, but that were coming under Biden and everybody else, all right? Those folks right there, they make up a large part of the illegal aliens in the country. But the largest part, the biggest part, when you talk about illegals being in here, they didn't come through the border. A fence wouldn't have stopped them. They come in through the visa program and then they stay. They're supposed to go home, but they stay. The majority of the applications that are put forward based on my contacts at ICE will always have something that is incorrect or wrong. So you tell me, when one person is processing 100 applications and doing due diligence, how do you do due diligence on 100 people per day and that just keeps on going? To make that matter worse, this is going to blow your mind. At some point in the application process, just before you get your visa, you're going to meet with somebody from immigration overseas at our embassy or consulate, and you're going to have an interview that's going to last 2 minutes. We're giving people access to our country in a 2-minute face-to-face interview where you're going to ask questions. 2 minutes. You would take more time to interview the guy who's going to cut your lawn than the person that may come in here and want to cut your throat. So you want to hear about the fraud that goes on? It happens everywhere. Here's another part that I got directly from ICE. So we have, when you say who works at these places, who's giving out these visas, we have less than 20,000 people in immigration working in that department. A couple of thousand are processing 12 million applications every single year. It's an impossibility to do. So what we do overseas at embassies and consulates, what we do is we hire locals. So these local people come in and they're helping the process of giving out these visas. And so story after story after story of a local guy being threatened by somebody who's got bad intent, says, hey, by the way, you work at the consulate, you're there at the embassy. I'm going to need a visa. Well, I'm going to need a visa. Here's $5,000. In fact, 9 of my friends, there's 10 of us, we're going to need visas. $5,000 from all of us. We're going to give it to you under the table. $50,000 for somebody who's making peasant money. Not only that, but if you don't get us the visas, well, you may not live another day. And so what happens is that local, who's all embedded within our immigration process, goes in, yep, I need visas for these people, blah, blah, they're all good, they checked out fine, I did everything. That's who's coming over into our country. This is the process to which we are allowing people to come into America. And you wonder how we get a Mamdani who comes over here and right away, it's, he's setting up things for justice for Palestine? This guy isn't somebody who wanted to come here because he loves the American system. This is a guy who came here because it was always in the plan to change the American system. We have a majority of people in that way here in the country. So most people don't know this. The way to stop this is stop giving out visas like it's candy. Stop giving out visas like it's something that you pull out of a Cracker Jacks box. We're allowing people into our country in a manner that you would never allow somebody into your home. It needs to stop. I hope you share this video, and if I'm new to you, give me a follow. You will not be disappointed.